In the auto service industry, classic car owners are assisted by two separate yet equally important groups: the skilled mechanics who repair the vehicles, and the meddling office managers who make videos about it. These are their stories.
Once again, we are back with a 1975 Plymouth Gran Fury Custom. And you say it's cooking its own battery, huh?
I think we are going to take it for a test drive and see how well the trans works.
It just hit my head. It's so bouncy in there. In our last season of Chase Classic Motors, Eric and I traveled all the way to Atlantic City to bring this full-size Plymouth Gran Fury back to our Chase headquarters. This car has been off the road for over 20 years, and despite its museum-like appearance, it is suffering from the invisible effects of automotive atrophy. The owner purchased this Mammoth Mopar brand new in 1975 and used it for work in the local prosecutor's office, so it's had an interesting life to be sure. And now that Eric has the car running on all 8 cylinders again, we can remove and replace the rancid old fuel system that was stinking up our trailer on the ride home.
This car must be full of gas and it's getting sloshed around because I smell the old gas really bad right now.
Oh.
Yep, I mean, take a whiff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yes, that's a varnish smell.
Yep, I hope it's not leaking inside the trailer somewhere.
And once this prosecutor's Plymouth is up and running again, we'll take it for a test drive and look into the short-lived lifestyle of Chrysler's most popular government-issue sedan. Why was it such a full-size flop with car buyers? And how did it get that bizarre name?
The 1975 full-size Plymouth Gran Fury.
So let's see what surprises are in store as we prep this 50-year-old Mopar for its first run in decades. Has the court of public opinion changed its view of these formal full-size four-doors? And if so, what kind of indictment will our grand jury hand down for this Plymouth Gran Fury?
That's true, that's still way too high. The battery's going bad in this meter, so that may not be true. But if that's true voltage, that's way too high.
So, you're back with the Atlantic City Gran Fury.
Yeah.
And you say it's cooking its own battery, huh?
Yep, well, I got it running, I checked it, and the voltage is way too high. I may have screwed up. I don't know. I hope I'm not stupid enough that I was checking it with a meter with a bad battery before, but it's bad now, so I can't trust what it's telling me. But if what it's telling me is right, it's way too high. It's cooking it now.
And you already went ahead and replaced the voltage regulator.
Yeah, which is a common problem on these. And I mean, I own other meters, but I've got them at home and at work. Okay, well, not gonna know for sure until I get another 9-volt in here.
Well, I was going to run to the store and pick up some more supplies for our open house tomorrow. It is our 1-year anniversary coming up tomorrow, so.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
All right, if you want to pick up a 9-volt battery or two, that would be cool.
Alrighty.
I'm trying to do a little bit of research on what gas tank to put in it.
We do have one.
Yeah, the fuel lines got to be replaced still. As you can see, I run it off a thing on the, just like that.
Just a little aux tank there.
I haven't changed any fluids in it. I had to change the fuel pump to get it running. That's it.
Status report. About the same as ever, but it runs well, and hopefully we'll be making more progress very soon.
Now that we've established that the 360 cubic inch V8 is primed and can run off of the fuel jug, Eric and I set to work on replacing the old fuel lines in the gas tank. We covered this process in detail in Season 1 with our 1977 Plymouth Gran Fury police car project, which is nearly identical to this 1975 model. So let's see how the car responds with a fresh fuel system and some fresh fluids.
surprisingly easy.
That was amazingly easy. It sounds like it's running.
I don't think it's running anymore off of just the, well, it might be, off of just the fuel that was in the carburetor. It might be. Let's see, is the gauge working? No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, I only put 5 gallons in it, but it says it's bone dry, so I might have to do a little bit more diagnosis there. We had the original sending unit rebuilt, and it looks brand new. And yes, I do have the little ground strap on it, but it doesn't look like it's working. That's unfortunate. But look at the car running. That's a big win.
The Atlantic City Fury is alive once again.
Let me turn it off. I just changed the oil in it too. So let me check the oil and make sure it's okay.
But this is an important day. Because once again, we are back with a 1975 Plymouth Gran Fury Custom, all the way from Atlantic City.
Yeah, so the customer wants us to make this a drivable, reliable car again. It's been sitting for 20 years. Didn't have any problems when it was parked, but he just wants to make it a good, yeah, it needs at least another quart of oil, a good, reliable car again. And of course, we need to drive it to evaluate that. I thought that was a oil. That's not. That's a screw hole. And because we haven't been able to run it off of fuel in the gas tank, we had to put literally a tank of fuel here and a hose to it. We haven't really been able to drive it. So we don't know if the trans needs a rebuilt or something like that. And so now that we can actually drive it like a normal car, we can evaluate things like that. I know this is not high zinc motor oil. Because this car's been sitting for a long time, and because I'm gonna take this engine out of this car anyway to do a complete reseal on it, you know, oil pan gasket and front and rear main seals and all that stuff, I'm putting kind of cheapy oil in here now. I did put in a zinc additive, and I put in a little bit of transmission fluid too, so that when we're driving, hopefully the detergents in the trans fluid kind of clean any crud that might be in there. And then after we paint it and the engine's ready to go back in the car for the final time, I'll put in the stuff we usually put in, which is the high zinc pen grade.
The real vintage car oil. Right now, this is just more of a oil flush.
Yeah, you could, yes, that's a good way to put it. This is, like I said, this is just cheapy oil with a zinc additive and a little trans fluid for now. I can't believe how easily it started. I did not expect that because all the fuel lines are new, the gas tank is new, so I figured, you know, you got what, 20 feet of empty fuel line that's, I'm gonna have to crank and crank and crank and crank and crank to prime it all up. I hoped there was still gasoline in the carburetor that it would start off of, but this car's been here for about a week or so, so I wasn't sure, you know, maybe it evaporated or whatever.
It's been on the lift a week. It's been here in the shop a little longer than that.
Yeah, looks like we're good on oil now, on the oil level.
A lot of viewers will probably have noticed this 75 Gran Fury in the background of many of the videos that we've shot in the last couple of seasons. But once again, it's having its turn here on the service lift, and you're a big step closer to being able to finally test this car.
Yeah.
See what it's actually capable of and see what actually needs to be fixed.
Now that we can drive it without a stupid, you know, 5-gallon gas can hanging off the radiator core support with a bungee cord, now this feels like a real viable car again. You know, like we did with the Bronto when we could finally start it with keys and all that. So this is a big day for this car. By the way, since you got the camera out, I'm gonna point out one of my pet peeves. That bolt right there, I got my flashlight on. This one right here. That is just a naked bolt between that bracket and that bracket. What that means is someone took that bolt out at some point. There's supposed to be a sleeve there. And someone took that bolt out and forgot to put the sleeve back in. Unfortunately, it means I'm probably gonna have to keep an eye on some of the junkyards, and if any older, like it's probably gonna have to come off of like an 80s Dodge pickup truck with a small block, and I'm gonna have to find that sleeve. And when we take this apart and put that together, put that sleeve in. Without that sleeve, the bolt never truly tightens against those brackets, and it really doesn't hold the alternator up the way it should and keep tension on the belt. You know, if you try to just make it tight, in my experience, what ends up happening is you end up cracking one of those brackets. So that's something we're gonna have to address before we give the car back to the guy. But for now, I think we are gonna take it for a test drive and see how well the trans works.
I'm with you. Let's hit the road because this car is plated and insured and it is ready for its first real road test here at our workshop.
Your new car dollar never bought more car value than it does with the 1975 full-size Plymouth Gran Fury. Spacious, comfortable, quiet, luxurious, and sensibly priced. And isn't that what you want in your car?
In 1974, Chrysler released its revised lineup of formal-style full-size cars. The swooping fuselage designs of the 1960s and early 70s were out, and crisp sheer lines were in. Chrysler revamped its entire full-size lineup, which they hoped would appeal to their loyal big car buyers. Instead, the cars were immediately shunned by the automotive press, who lambasted Chrysler's design changes as being a near-carbon copy of the 1973 Buick LeSabre, and you thought new cars today all looked alike. With a panache for impeccable timing, Chrysler brought out their new full-size cars at a time when all American auto sales were in decline, thanks to the ongoing fuel crisis. However, the formal styling also allowed Mopar to market their flagship models in time for Dodge's 50th anniversary. This promotional video shows how Chrysler marketed the advantages of the new design. Notice that Chrysler still refers to their new full-size Plymouth as the Fury in 1974. Yet our customer's 1975 Plymouth is badged the Gran Fury. So where did that bizarre name come from? Well, it all comes down to economics as Plymouth began to simplify its lineup. In 1972, Plymouth started offering two-door and four-door versions of their popular full-size Fury. The two-door was dubbed the Fury Gran Coupe, while the four-door was the Gran Sedan. These cars went all the way back to the mid-50s, as the Fury was once the special edition performance version of the Belvedere. However, for 1975, Plymouth would drop its mid-size car, the Satellite, as sales had begun to lag. Instead, they adopted the B-body sheet metal of the Dodge Coronet and rebadged it as the all-new mid-size Plymouth Fury. This now left their full-size car in need of a name change. So to make the rebadging system seem fresh, and to help customers differentiate between the mid-size and the full-size car, Plymouth borrowed the nameplate from the Gran Coupe and Sedan to bequeath their traditional full-size car as the Gran Fury. So with our investigation complete, let's go for a ride with Eric and see how this prosecutor's Plymouth holds up to our cross-examination.
Well, the brakes certainly seem to work.
Too well. The rears are a little sticky. I couldn't modulate that any better. So there's definitely problems with the carburetor here.
Oh yeah.
That's floored and it's just not going.
Right.
It's better if I kind of ease into it. there's definitely some problem with the turn signal switch, because every time I turn left without touching the turn signal switch and then go straight again, the light comes on the indicator up on the fender there to let you know that the turn signal's on. Well, maybe not every time. I ain't doing it now. And it really rides rough. He must have some super shocks on here or something. Unless they're just kind of stuck from sitting. Maybe it's getting a little bit better as I drive it. Actually, I think it is. Maybe it just needs a workout, because the brakes didn't lock up that time. But yeah, I think the good thing is the trans is working. See, that's getting on the throttle too hard. I gotta sneak up on it.
Otherwise it bogs.
Yep. Definitely needs a carb rebuild. The guy in the BMW liked it.
Well, I see what you mean. It's definitely not as easy to keep the camera steady as it was in our own Brontosaurus.
Yeah, it's this car is actually rougher than our honest-to-God police package 77 Gran Fury.
Because this car looks like a police package, but it's actually a Gran Fury custom upgraded with miscellaneous parts from several wrecked highway patrol cars.
Yeah.
That the owner installed over many, many years of ownership. Again, he's owned this car since new. And it did serve in a public capacity, working in the county prosecutor's office for a few years in the 1970s and 80s. So as you can see, it's still got some of these original radio components and emergency controls.
There's second gear, I think.
Yeah, that was a nice smooth second gear.
It shifts smooth. I wanted to get on it and feel it shift hard, so I know that it's shifting.
Yes.
I can't, though. So I got to sneak up on it. We might be in third now. I didn't feel it, but we're doing almost 40.
I just hit my head. It's so bouncy in there.
No, son of a...
This is a rough riding car. I don't think I can get it any faster than that. We're doing about 45 and I got to slow down now. I mean, maybe I could take it on the North Avenue. You know what? It's rush hour now.
It is.
I don't know if maybe an expressway is closed or something, but it is heavier today than usual.
Well, it is rush hour on a Wednesday in Metro Detroit. There is no good time to be doing this because we usually film on a weekend, and yet we had a bit of a lucky streak, a good opportunity for us to meet up and
that was a slip.
film, was it?
Going in a second, that was a slip. We'll get back and I'll check the trans fluid level.
Right. But it does run and drive.
I'm trying to get it going again. I cannot feel third gear, but we're doing 45, 45. I don't think it would go that fast in second without the engine really screaming, so.
It does have a very quiet exhaust system though.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I'm with you. I definitely prefer the factory ride of our bone stock 77 Gran Fury police pack.
Yeah, that car doesn't ride like a Cadillac, but it's okay.
Yes.
This is a rough riding car. I suspect that he did put stiffer shocks on it to try to get the handling better. I don't think they're seized from sitting, but they could be. And it doesn't help that the tires are 25 or 30 years old. There, it slipped again.
I felt it.
Ooh, and the carb is really not happy. Well, we wanted to know if when we pull the engine and trans out of this car, how much of a rebuild are we doing? I think the engine is fit as a fiddle other than some leaks. So we'll take it out and I'll seal it up and paint it. But the transmission, I'm kind of thinking we might want to go for a rebuild on that.
Yeah, you definitely got a living patient here, Doc, but I think this one needs some rehabilitation.
Strong stuff, all right. It'll take me a month to rebuild it.
Yeah.
A little bit more than we might have expected for a car in as nice a condition as this one.
Well, it's old car biz. You never know what's going to be broken on them until you take it for a test drive.
Well, that's for sure.
All right, I'm going to check the trans fluid, but...
Well, other than me having a sore head, that was a nice test drive.
It's back in the land of the living, and it's awesome that I don't have to hook up a gas can to it anymore just to drive it around. We can just hop in and start it. So it's still a big win for today.
It really is.
Idle speed's pretty high too.
I don't suppose it has a high idle switch on it.
I'm not sure. But yeah, let me check the trans fluid and we'll see what's going on there. Maybe with a little bit of luck it's just low. In my experience, that seems like that's the first thing to suffer on a 727 when it's low on fluid is the 1-2 shift. So, but not always. Let's see. I don't think the shocks are seized. They're just rough. If anything, it might be overfull, but I might have to let it sit for a bit. You got air shocks in the back. It is really stiff. Yeah, level's okay. So, you know, this guy doesn't mind spending some money on this car. So we could try things, you know, if he didn't want it to be rebuilt, you know, there's additives and stuff you can put in it. But if he wants it right, and I know this guy, he does, it probably should just have a trans rebuild.
And we've already convinced him to save money on an engine rebuild.
Yeah.
Because the engine runs so beautifully smooth in this car.
Oh yeah, it runs great.
It is a great running car. Little to be desired by the ride, but overall, the ride is rough, but the engine certainly runs nice. And as you did point out, of course, the carburetor sounds like it needs some work.
Oh, it definitely does. No doubt about it.
I definitely feel that. How are the gauges?
Let's check. We should be seeing something on the coolant temperature gauge by now. Coolant temperature 155 or so, oil pressure 15 or so, that's okay. That's probably a vacuum gauge right there. Yep, that's just a vacuum gauge. Those fuel economy gauges, they basically just tell you how much load is on the engine. In other words, it's a vacuum gauge. He does have a fast idle on here. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a whole list of gauges up here.
Ooh. Is that?
Looks like an old Heathkit siren controller there.
There we go.
So you've got the PA setting now. Can you speak through the PA?
Jeez. Test, test, test. I can't hear it from here. I think it works though. I mean, the whale and the yelp work.
Certainly do.
I don't want to disturb the neighbors too much. That's a fuel economy gauge, which is literally just a vacuum gauge. You know, I open the throttle and it drops. So that's all those are.
Speaking of throttle, I see you have a fast idle switch down here.
Yeah, isn't that cool? That's the police one too. We've got the same thing on our Bronto. This one's in a much nicer shape.
Just pull it back and you increase the idle setting.
Yeah, the carb is, oh, there we go. The carb is really not happy, but it does work. TAC isn't doing anything. I wonder what's up with that. I don't even know what this is. CompuCruise.
I don't suppose that's anything like FastCar.
No, I don't think so. Well, now who knows? I don't know.
It's definitely a mileage computer of some kind.
That works. Okay.
A lot of bells and whistles in this 75 Plymouth.
Yeah. Should I try the wipers? Okay, they work so far. I'm sure they're... Uh-oh. Well, I think I broke the bushing. Used up the last 3 wipes it had in it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not unusual.
No, I was a little bit surprised they worked at all. Those bushings do not last.
Now, if this owner, if he expects to be driving this car regularly in the summer season at his new place in Pennsylvania, well, that's just one more thing we're going to have to address.
That's easy and cheap.
And it's lucky that we're taking care of it now rather than later.
Okay.
But overall, what's your verdict there, Doc?
Well, it's unfortunate that it's going to need a trans rebuild, but carburetor rebuild is no surprise there. I'd be surprised if it didn't need that. I probably would have done it anyway, just because it sat for 20 years. Fuel was in it. It evaporated. It left behind some varnish and crud. But it lives.
It's here and it lives once more. And we'll have to see and wait to find out what is next to be in store.
All right, I'm going to close up, get it in the shop, and we'll move on.
Well, friends and neighbors, the jury is out and the verdict is in. It seems that this incomparably clean 75 Plymouth Gran Fury will hardly be an open and shut case. So stay tuned this season as we tackle the engine, transmission, suspension, brakes, tires, and everything else needed to bring this forgotten full-size classic back to being a capable car once again. With a little luck and a whole lot of work, we'll see if we can get this Mammoth Mopar to return to good order and finally get a successful ruling in our favor. Until next time, enjoy those classics and keep on cruising. If you enjoy automotive content like we do, consider subscribing to our channel or check out our website to join our VIP-only high-speed chase club for early videos and other great perks.